Woof. Hey, happy days. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, also known as Pajama Grandma. What's she up to now? Day 590. 590 days in a row. I've hopped on, actually, I started on Facebook Live, but I share this on my podcast as well and on other social media platforms because that's just what I do. It's just me documenting my journey of transitioning from brick and mortar businesses, the corporate world of corporate America. I spent, over a quarter century in corporate America and running a bunch of different businesses, like 27 different businesses in a variety of industries, and had some successes, had some failures, had a whole lot of lessons learned, and decided a few years ago that I was going to break out of the, because I created jobs a lot of times for myself, even though I put systems and people and processes in place. It often felt more like a job than it did a freedom business. And I'd always been attracted to the allure of the online world and the freedom that promised. And I wanted to learn more about that and get involved in that. So a couple of years ago now, I decided, as I transitioned out of my Italian food manufacturing business and my other brick and mortar businesses and part of my divorce, I was going to hop into the online world. And as long as I was going to do it, I was going to share every day how it was going, what worked, what didn't work, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because there's some days that have been just plain ugly. There's been some weeks where I was so frustrated I just wanted to pull out all my hair because I couldn't figure out something on the computer, something technical. And lo and behold, the lesson for me in that has been, you don't have to figure it all out yourself. It's not all about me. It's not all about you. There's always people that know what it is that we don't know, and it's better to go find them than to lose 2 weeks in struggling with a problem that isn't even that important. So today, I just wanted to chat a few minutes about the whole my way or the highway philosophy, thinking that we have to do everything ourselves or that we're absolutely right about everything, and the only way to do things and the only way to look at the world is the way we currently see the world, the way we believe is the right way, our reality, the right way to see the world. I've dealt with a lot of people in my life, and I probably was that person when I was younger. Hey, this is how it's done. This is how we're going to do it. This is how it has to be. Or this is the process that we figured out together. We're all going to follow it. And I always knew that we wanted to be continually improving things, but I didn't early on in my career ingrain that belief necessarily in everyone around me. Now, I changed that pretty fast, both in corporate America and in my businesses, that, hey, yep, we figure out a way to do something, we document the process, we follow the process, but we're always looking for a way to do it better, because there's always, in anything and everything that we do, there's always a better way to do it, a better, faster, more efficient, more effective way of doing absolutely everything and anything that we do, whether it's making a cup of coffee, cleaning the bathroom, doing the laundry, creating a process or a procedure for a department at work or for a part of your business that needs to be systematized. How do I work with a VA? That's something that should be documented. Any process or anything we do repeatedly, I believe, should be turned into a process that we don't have to be the only one that knows how to do it. But that's as your business grows. But even if you want to hand things off, I always want to be thinking about, well, what if something were to happen to me? Could someone else step into this and have it continue? Or would it just die right along with me? And I have a different philosophy on that because I actually did that. And fortunately for me, I did have processes and systems in place that people could carry on because I didn't die and I did want to step back into my businesses. So, my way or the highway. How ingrained are you to have everything your way? Now, this has come home to me in the last few weeks because my ex-husband and I are remodeling and fixing up the house that we had together that we raised our kids in and getting it ready to sell. And there's 4 of us. One of my sisters is helping me, Betsy, thank you very much. And me and my ex-husband, Brian, and a friend of ours and a contractor friend that's got a lot of experience in the area named Greg John is helping us. So the 4 of us are brainstorming ideas on what to do with this house. My ex-husband and I flipped houses for a long time, and he still continues to fix up and flip houses. But we do starter homes, and this is not a starter home, so it's a totally different animal. So it takes all 4 of us working together and bringing ideas to what we're going to do in terms of picking out paint colors, picking out floors. It's a cosmetic rehab, and so it's paint, floors, and now we're doing countertops. And we're reconfiguring the center island of the kitchen and reconfiguring some cabinets and things. So it's really interesting and fun how each of us approaches this project. Now, I have to keep reminding myself that I'm not going to live there. I don't live there anymore. So I just want to fix it up and make it awesome for someone else. And the things that I felt I used to personalize and customize the home, they don't matter. They can come out and they don't matter anymore. Things like custom kitchen cabinets, closet organizers, things like that I worked really hard on, and I used them and put them in place, and cabinets in the kids' rooms and things to make it our own for our particular family. All those things have been pulled out because they don't matter. And did it hurt my feelings, and did I cry a little bit over it? Yeah, I'm going to admit that I did, because it's the end of part of my life, and so that's hard. But I also have to remind myself that it's not a part of my life anymore. So is it my way or the highway, or is it what is the best thing to do for the next phase of this particular project? And so to make it beautiful for the next family that's going to live in this home, that's the most important thing that we have to remember and we have to create. It isn't about it's my way or the highway. Now, I've been surrounded, like I said, with people that have this my way or the highway philosophy, or that they're very regimented in their thinking for a lot of my life. I have family members that are so overbearing and and they're really unbelievable, that I've actually had to cut myself off from them and spend very little time with them because the way they make me feel. They make me feel bad. And if anybody that makes me feel bad, I'm not going to hang around them. I'm not going to spend time with them. I've had family members through marriage that I totally had to cut myself off from and will have nothing to do with because it nearly killed me. So we have to pay attention to I started to wonder, am I attracting people that have this my way or the highway philosophy and way of being? Because there's a component of that in me and in my behavior and in the things that I do. And I would have to say, yes, there was a component. There isn't much of it anymore. Although I will be very direct with my coaching students and stuff. It's like, I've been hearing you say this for 6 months now. We need to address this. We need to take a step back and we need to take care of this, because this thing that keeps coming up, it's impacting you. It's a barrier. It's a little obstacle that we need to overcome. And I think that what we see in other people sometimes is what we're afraid we see in ourselves, or it's so opposite of what we are like and what we see in ourselves that we just can't be around it. We can't be a part of it. So unethical people that are dishonest, people that are manipulative, I can't be a part of. I can't be around. People that are super controlling and arrogant and egotistical, I have no time and no energy for them. And it's not because I am that way. It's because I'm the opposite of that. And it feels bad to be around people like that. So I just don't want to be around people that have the my way or the highway philosophy. Now, sometimes, I've had coaches that are like, this is the system, this is the way you do it. And really, it's not that they're forcing me to do it their way. They're trying to get me to let go of all the crap and all the false beliefs that are being obstacles to me, because we all have beliefs, right? We think our beliefs are just our beliefs. We think our reality is just the way the world is. But we forget sometimes that our reality and our beliefs are just a culmination of all the thoughts we've thought, all the experiences we've had, all the feelings that we've felt over our lifetime up to this point. And sometimes we've been programmed by our subconscious and by people around us to believe things that are not in our own best interest. And our subconscious will keep us believing those things way beyond the point of keeping us safe, way beyond the point of it being good for us or in our best interest. Think of when you have a bad habit. I eat too much caramel and I didn't exercise for decades. And those were bad habits that I had to change because they were, threatening my life and my health. We all have good habits and bad habits, things that are good for us and bad for us. And bad habits are super easy to form and really, really hard to break. It's really, really hard to start exercising if you haven't exercised in 10 years. Ask me how I know. I hadn't exercised on purpose in like 10 years when I had my sudden cardiac arrest. And I knew consciously that if I was going to survive and still be here talking to you, I had to change that. It was really, really hard for me to start exercising anymore. I had to make myself and tell myself and commit to myself I was going to exercise every day for a year. And that I had to do it. I had to do that in order to get myself to be a person that exercises every day instead of a person that doesn't do anything and never exercises. That was a very hard habit to form. But once I formed it, I can't imagine not doing something every day. But it took me over a year to make that a habit. And I don't know, maybe for you, 21 days forms a new habit. I don't know, that must be an average or a statistic that people have all adopted, because I think for some things it might be true, but for other things I think it's absolute poppycock and it's BS. It's not true. I think some good things, it takes longer than 21 days to form a habit. That's why I do 30-day and 60-day and 90-day challenges for people, because I know darn well it takes more than 21 days to do something. It certainly takes more than a 5-day challenge to change something in your life. It might get you a start and some quick results, and I do 5-day challenges too, so I'm not dogging on them, but I know that I can do something for 5 days and I can quit it and I don't feel like I'm very invested in it. But if I, have dated someone for 3 years, I'm pretty invested in it. If I've been married to someone for 20 years, I'm pretty invested in it, right? We get invested based on longevity and how much effort and energy we put into something. And it takes a while to form good habits, but it's really, really easy to form bad habits, right? It's really hard for some of us to eat really healthy every single day. It's really easy for us to hop into the fast food, junk food, consuming things that aren't good for us, even though we know they're not good for us. I mean, think about smoking cigarettes. People know, every person that smokes cigarettes know. We don't need to tell them, although I still tell my daughter a lot, that you don't need to smoke cigarettes. Smoking cigarettes is bad. We all know it. But we still do it if we're a cigarette smoker, which I never have been, because it is so habitual. It is so ingrained. It actually is ingrained in our in the physiology. So those things are really, really hard to change. Anyway, my whole topic today, and I'm going around in a big circle jerk, was my way or the highway. How much do you relate to that statement? How regimented and strict and I don't want to say OCD. I don't want to diagnose anything, but how much do things have to be your way for you to be comfortable? How much change are you willing to accept? How flexible are you? I guess that's the best question, is how flexible are you? How open-minded are you? How open are you to the fact that there's infinite possibilities of how anything on the planet can be done? How open to you are that? Or do you say, I have to do things this way every day or my day is ruined? I have to have these things line up, these stars have to line up before I'm going to make this action or take this step. I'm not going to do anything different until all these things happen. And the possibility really of all those things happening exactly how you want them to is probably slim to none. How invested are you in things have to be a certain way? I lived a lot of years where things had to be a certain way and then I was going to be happy. And guess what? I was never happy because things were never that certain way. I was always living, waiting for these things to line up or these definitions of success to happen before I was going to allow myself to be happy. What a waste of time and energy that was. Because instead of enjoying and embracing the things that were going on in my life that were amazing and wonderful, I was kind of just skimming over them and running through my life and missing out on things that I should have been savoring, missing out on experiences that I should have absolutely been enthralled and thrilled about. So today, just ask yourself, how invested am I in the saying, my way or the highway? How really ingrained am I in believing that my way of looking at the world is the only way of looking at the world? And you can kind of tell based on how many arguments are you getting in with people? How often are you spending time and energy trying to convince people of your way of thinking? What a waste of time that is. It's kind of like worrying. Now, I'm not going to say I don't worry. I'm not going to say I don't try to convince people to see things my way sometimes. But how silly is that? How big a waste of time is that? I will see things the way I want to see things until I want to see things differently. And so will everybody else on the planet. So is it about getting people to do things my way? Sometimes it's important. Most of the time, it just isn't. And if I'm trying to do that, I'm just incorporating a whole lot of stress and a whole lot of frustration into my life that I don't need. And probably you don't need it either. So think about my way or the highway today. What am I working on? One Funnel Away challenge. I think today's day 20. I know today's day 20. Week 2, day 6. And I believe it's a catch-up day. I know it's a catch-up day again because we're going into funnel building next week. And so we'll do 7 missions in a row. So this week they're giving us a little bit of a break. Tomorrow will be a review day. And they've really structured the challenge that, to be honest, this is my 3rd time through it, taking a group through. And had I not done it before, I would not be where I need to be. I'd be spending these 2 days running my butt off trying to catch up. But since I have done it before, I came into it knowing what I was going to do and how I was going to do it and how I was going to structure. And I have all the pieces of my offer already built and put together, waiting for a couple of new graphics because I want to update some graphics for it. But for the most part, it's ready and good to go. Working on some new hooks, some new messaging, retelling my stories, coming up with better and practicing and refining my stories because I want to be an awesome storyteller and I know I suck at it right now. Never been one for good storytelling or timing. I just have never been. I've never thought it was a big deal or important for me. I come from a background of engineering and sciences, which is not a huge storytelling field. Should be, like everything else, but it never really traditionally has been. It's proof and facts and numbers and experiments and hypothesis and things like that, and statistics, and I got some new theories of statistics. So working on that. Also, as part of that, revamping my Women's Summit, revamping the Customer Challenge, and revamping a couple of lead magnets, because instead of just having one, I want to have a few different lead magnets that lead into the summit. The summit will be my sales page, my main thing, and then the upsell will be the Customer Challenge. And just a 30-day Customer Challenge, although I may do a double upsell with the 30-day Customer Challenge and then a second upsell with the 90-day Influencer live video challenge, because that one is absolutely killer. And I think if you want to be an influencer in days instead of years, that is the way to do it. Publish every single day. And about halfway through it, you'll find your voice. So no matter how scared you are on day 1, by day 40, day 45, you're like, oh, this is, and it doesn't even take that long. Usually by day 5 or 10, you're like, oh my gosh, this is way easier than I thought it was going to be. And by 45, you really get your voice and you really know how to hop on the camera and how to talk and how to just be yourself. Because the real secret is it's all about just being yourself, accepting yourself and loving yourself for who and how you are. I still think I'm boring as heck. I mean, I am boring and monotone and not that exciting sometimes, but it doesn't matter because that's who I am. I'm here to speak to the people that can relate to me. The rest of them, I don't care. You can think I look like the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz. You can think that I stumble over my words, because I absolutely do. But guess what? So does just about everybody else on the planet that doesn't have editors that cut and paste and fix their videos and make them look perfect and be perfect. Even amazing people like Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson. They all have, and Steve Larson. There's tons of people. Marie Forleo. Everybody has people that are editing and cutting and pasting and doing clips with their videos. So cut yourself some slack and understand that you're not comparing yourself to anyone else. You're just being you. And that makes it really fun and really easy. So working on that, working on the house. Again, we talked about the house a little bit, going back out. Probably with my daughter, we're going to bring her in for some more opinions about how to configure the center island. I had this gigantuan center island, and they want to reconfigure and make that a little smaller and go stone in the whole kitchen instead of our old dated green countertops, which were super popular when we built the house, but now they're just kind of ridiculous. So since we're changing everything else, why not change that as well and put it in a nice backsplash, which I always wanted anyway. So working on that today, hanging out with some friends and family. I hope that you're doing the same and having an amazing weekend, and remembering that, especially when you're with your friends and family, don't make it about being my way or the highway. Make it be about actually being present and experiencing the wonder of all of the people that we love and come in contact with. That's it. Have an amazing day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye. Take care.